Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet.
And welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. Well, hey, Ryan, it's the end of September.
I know, September went by very quickly.
It's kind of weird. I feel like it was a long month, but it still went by fast.
Mm-hmm.
So today we are going to talk about a subject that comes up for us very frequently. I'm going to kind of be the bus driver of this topic because it can be a little confusing. So I'll do my best to provide some context. And it actually was kind of funny because I was watching one of my online mentors in a course that she's doing right now. And she gave really great terminology around this whole concept of what we're going to talk about, which is Mojo, and how Ryan often has charters where they're a little more challenging because people get in his mojo and kind of throw him off of his tracks a little bit. Would you say that I kind of got that?
Yeah, I think
right
that's one of the best ways I think that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it is an area that's a little gray. And for some people, they may not understand this. So they may be like, what? You know, my dad years ago, I remember when I was in sales, my dad would say, you know, the customer's always right. And I was like, there's a little beg to differ on that because there's so many different elements and factors that go into having a relationship. And that's really what a business is. It's a relationship. And if you don't trust the captain and listen to the captain and let the captain do his job, like you end up throwing off the mojo of the trip. And when I was a sales rep, it was kind of in the same way. It was like, if you don't trust me and you don't take my, let's say, sage advice on what could be good for you versus what probably isn't going to be great for you, then you're going to throw off the mojo of the relationship. So there's just various elements. And again, this is very gray. It's not a super black and white topic. So some people out there may have a hard time grasping this based on their brain and even their human design, which is something I use in my coaching business. It's a tool. But yeah, Mojo.
Mojo. And a lot of guys that are team fishermen and captains that really know what the hell's going on out there. I mean, real guys that understand what we're getting at.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So for Ryan, you know, if you know a lot about our business, he does not have a tower. So a lot of captains have a tower. So they go escape. They go up to the tower. We've talked about this before. And they can escape. Ryan's down there, like on the deck, like fishing, doing all the things himself because there's no mates, and he's really the one. It's extremely hands-on fishing charter. So often, I don't know if we really have a percentage, maybe 25% of the time.
I would say it's like it's gotten, you know, a lot of people understand it now because most of the people listen to the podcast and understand about Mojo, and it's something that I have to keep beating into people's heads, but yeah.
Right. But then that 25% to a third of people start on this whole line of questioning.
The questions. Here we go, the questions.
The questions. And, you know, Ryan comes home and we talk about it. And me being a coach and having a lot of business experience and leadership experience, like, I understand that there are many different people, let's say, out there. You know, there's people that are more talkative and they don't like silence, so they're going to ask a lot of questions because that's just their nature. There are people that want to know exactly how he did it. Like, they're a taker. That's what I call them. They're a taker. They're coming on because they want to know exactly how they did it. And that's just their personality type. And they think it's that easy that they're going to get like this step-by-step. And that's not what his fishing charters are for. That's not it at all. Buy a course or book him as a private coach. But they still think that maybe they're going to get that type of information. And then there's people like me, for example. I would be the person who I'm just curious and want to have some conversation, even though I'm not a super big talker, but I'm really good at making conversation and I'm curious. So I would be that person. So if you're one of these three people and Ryan's in his zone, he's in the zone. If you're a sports player, you probably understand that. And he's just trying to catch the fish. If you're in his ear constantly like asking questions, you throw him out of the zone. Right?
Yeah, that's it. That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
Actually, and plus if they're too personal of questions, and if I catch somebody taking a picture of a rod or taking a picture of something or taking
that puts him in the taker category.
The big thing now is people want to try to take pictures of my GPS when they think I'm not looking.
A taker.
It doesn't like
bad juju there.
Don't
do that. Do not be that person.
I can sense when people do that because they keep their phones with them, and it's very it's the same person every time, and I know who it's going to be, and I know who it's not going to be, and I know who's...
I'm feeling their energy.
Right, I can feel their energy, and I know what they're there for. So it's...
But that throws off the mojo of the trip.
Yeah, it throws off the mojo of the trip.
If you think about it,
it does.
If you're doing that, and Ryan can sense it, he's a Jedi, like, he can sense it, like, you're going to throw off the mojo of the trip, and you're not going to have the best trip possible.
Right.
Versus if you just let him do his job and catch the fish... And you can ask, have a conversation. It's not like we're saying be quiet. Like, that's not it. It's just what kind of questions are you asking? And then what's your intention when you're asking the questions? And these are the things that end up throwing someone out of the zone. It really is. It just throws him out of the zone. It's like, okay, do you want to catch fish or do you not want to catch fish, right?
Yep. And I can tell when somebody, too, is saying, okay, well, it's kind of like one of those things where, oh, yeah, we have 100% confidence in you. And then I can tell when they're lying. I can tell when they're being...
Well, this is where this now segues into what we were talking about this morning. So
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what was my big aha moment this morning? As I mentioned, I was listening to one of my online mentors, and her name is Melanie Ann Layer, and I mentioned her last week in the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, and I am in her year-long container coaching group for the second year now in a row. So it's a monthly fee, a monthly price, and it's called the Alpha Femme Experience, and she is amazing. And I'm going to put the affiliate link in the show notes for the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. But what she ended up doing was she was talking about predictability, possibility, and potentiality in terms of manifesting. So her program right now that she is sharing is about manifestation. It's called Exponential Wealth, and it's a really awesome program. So what made me go ding, ding, ding and have this aha moment is when people get on the boat, and I'm sharing these examples because this story and these examples are relatable to other things in your life. We're just using fishing as an example here. But I want you to think about this in terms of other areas of your life. If you're not into fishing, if it's something else, like how is this relatable? And so the people that are coming on asking all these questions and having these expectations, like Ryan just mentioned, they live in this land, in the field of predictability. And it could be someone who, let's say, for example, to take it out of the fishing world, it has a 9-to-5 job. This is the salary you make. These are your expenses every month. This is a very predictable life you have. It's very safe. It's predictable. So that's what happens is these people want this predictability on a charter, whereas Ryan, in his mind, is living in the potentiality. He's living in the farthest, biggest quantum in terms of like, what can I catch today? How many fish can I catch today? He's not focused on like the little things. He's like on the big picture, right? So if you're in his ear on the charter, like with all these like little how-to questions, whether you're trying to be a taker or you're just asking lots of questions, like that takes him out of the zone. It takes him out of the zone of potentiality. And I just thought that like framework with the words predictability, possibility, and potentiality in terms of manifestation was just genius. And it really summed up like how we talk about this. We are in the being. We're always in the being. And she added framework around with her terminology and her examples.
Yep.
So it was really cool. It was very cool. Anything you want to add to my little story?
Yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up. You know, it's kind of like I fished the past 8 days, and I had a couple slow days, and one particular day the weather was way off. I just didn't have any control, and it was just is what it is, you know, some days. And then the next day we go out, and it's every day is different. Like I tell my biggest thing I tell people is every tide is a new day. And that's what I say. Mm-hmm. So when you get a 24-hour difference, it's kind of like a new month. Mm-hmm. So then the next day, it's just like the energy is like shifts with the tides and new things happen. Mm-hmm. So it just when I come home after a slow day, I kind of like beat myself up because it's like I might have 2 slow days in 20 days.
Right. But she also talked about, this is perfect, the maybe.
The maybe.
Because that's why people cannot live in the field of potentiality. They don't have the strength, the mindset, the perseverance to stay in the field of potentiality because they can't handle the maybe because it's not guaranteed, right?
No,
it's not guaranteed.
Yeah, there's no guarantees.
So you just said, you know, you may have 2 out of 20 days that aren't the best, you know, catch, you know, in Ryan land. And that's because you can't guarantee what's going to happen in the fields. Like you can't even guarantee what's going to happen in the field of predictability when you're fishing because it's fishing. It's not like going to work at a 9-to-5 job where you get paid a salary. Mm-hmm. It's a whole other avenue. It's
whole
like,
different.
It is. Yep. So you have to be able to live in the maybe.
Live in the maybe.
And the maybe isn't always gonna be a yes. You don't know. Yeah. Like that's the fear that you have to keep pushing through and keep going. Right.
You know, it's funny. I get as a fishing guide, it's my job to do my best to get bites, and some days it's like whoa. You know, I had one day where I just couldn't. Like it was just boom, man. It's kind of like a team that's batting 1,000, and all of a sudden you get that one slump day, and then boom. And it happens. It happens to professional athletes. It happens to
business people. Not every deal is like perfect.
Right.
That's how you keep in check.
Yeah. Not every deal is. That's what keeps you in check. So, and then the way that I recover is like I said, every tide is a new day, and every day brings new energy. The ocean says there's something about it, and when you learn, and that's what I've learned, is like I get up and I can just feel it. And when you get on the boat in the morning, the best thing I can tell the people is get on the boat, be relaxed with me in the morning. Don't jump on me with 20 questions right away without even saying hi and introducing yourself. And, you know, get the introductions out of the way, chill out, don't jump in on me. When you jump in on me right away, it throws the vibe off. Especially this, there's a lot of little things. And my routine when you get on the boat, I tell people when you get on the boat, just chill out. Let me get you set up. I have a standard protocol that I have to go over through the United States Coast Guard as far as where the life jackets are at, where the fire extinguishers are at. Let me get through all that stuff. Then we get through the fishing. It's the same thing every day. And when I get something that throws it off, the Mojo, with somebody that gets on the boat and starts taking pictures of my rods, asking me 30 questions about mutton snappers, then I know that the intention isn't great. So when you get on the boat, I just ask that you're to help with the Mojo. Every day is the same thing for me as any professional athlete. We go through the warm-up phase, and when we leave after we get loaded, we get things onto the boat. We get you situated. I go over where you can sit, what not to do on the boat as far as the safety situations go. And I'm extremely laid back. I only have a couple quirks. which more captains have 1,000 quirks than I do. than I do. I give a shit less about where the line gets wound on the fishing reel, so you don't have to worry about any of that crap. So, and then we head out through the creek. One thing, that helps is that, and once I get through the safety stuff, and then I go over the fishing plan, I tell you guys what's up. We have discussions before about what's biting. If you have not relayed that to your guests, you need to. It's extremely important that your guests are in tune to what the plan is and how Captain Ryan runs the boat, because you are the one that set up the trip. So I don't have any control over what your guests don't know. So just make sure that they understand that there's a protocol and how things operate, because it's a business. So, and if my mojo's off, because there are things that are required that I need to go through as far as law goes, and then we talk about the fishing. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Mojo, extremely important. And it just doesn't go with me. It goes with every other captain out there.
It goes with everything.
Everybody. Everything
has something that's going to throw off their mojo. So the point of this podcast, the intention is not only just to help educate some people with Good Karma sport fishing and charters in general, and hopefully help some other captains out there that may be struggling with the same thing, but how is this relatable to something in your life that you haven't really had awareness around?
Right. And
you keep on operating on autopilot. Mm-hmm. And if you just set some boundaries, Ryan did that years ago with me. He told me, you need to leave me alone in the mornings so I can have my coffee. Right?
Yeah.
So we've been having these discussions forever, right?
Right.
Versus Melinda going, what are we doing today? What's going on? What's going on? Which is all in the field of predictability. Ryan's having his coffee and he's like relaxing and he's, putting thoughts out there for the field of potentiality or even possibility. And so with me asking 20 questions for him in the morning, that's predictability. So if you're one of those people, don't feel bad because I've been there. So with the coffee. Yeah. But, how is this relatable to you in your life? Where can you set some boundaries? Have some awareness, and, maybe have a discussion with somebody, if it's a spouse or your children, someone at work, start to create some awareness and go, oh my gosh, this makes sense in terms of, the fields and how I want to feel in my day, and even manifestation. What am I looking to achieve in my life or my business, and how is it manifesting? And, how can I work on tweaking some little things there with my mindset? So it's a pretty big topic, one that, again, we've been in the being about and embodying without really having the terminology about. We've just been doing the thing. And that's actually why I like following some of these coaches and then sharing information about them, because when you start working with a coach who is following and is working with other amazing coaches who are ahead, it compounds. Like all this amazing information and learning compounds and just makes the next coach even stronger. So it's just like a really cool process. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, just reach out to me. My website is melindavanfleet.com and everything's on there. That's the easiest. And how should people get hold of you, Captain Ryan?
People can email me at goodkarmaryan@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at goodkarmasportfishing_FL_keys. And my website is goodkarmasportfishing.com.
And we have the app.
Yeah, and you can check out the app, and you can listen to the podcast through there, get some fishing reports. I'm doing a better job. I'm trying to do a better job of getting better fishing reports out there to you guys when I have time. So, but I've been out the past 8 days straight, so I have not had much time since I've been fishing full days, and the days have been long. So
yeah. And I also want to give a shout out to the rigging crew.
Yeah, my boys.
It is 2-year anniversary.
In Amber.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll just say people.
Yeah.
2-year anniversary of the rigging crew. And
I got it. I'm so.
It is Ryan.
Yeah.
A highlight for Ryan every month. And it's just, I don't even know if we could really ever put words around it, but just a shout out to everyone in the crew. And if you're interested in being in the crew, just reach out to Ryan. There is a process for that. It's not It's not for captains. It's for recreational.
Right. Yeah, it's not for captains.
So Ryan does vet people.
So I do vet people, and it's not for people that, it's for people that really want to learn different types of fishing. It's a very tight knit group.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a community.
It's a community.
So all the guys and Amber, everyone's gotten to know each other. So
and that's
important.
That group is very important to me. I teach that group a lot. As far as everybody's asking me if I'm going to do a YouTube. I'm like, no. So I'm not going to do YouTube. It's going to be the Good Karma rigging crew, and yeah, that's where you get to see some stuff. And it's the guys are really, over the past 2 years, I've seen guys go with very little fishing experience that have accelerated and have over 5 years fishing experience in less than 2.
Yeah. It is really phenomenal.
It's phenomenal to see the results.
And just for people out there, because we know also too that there's mixed views on Facebook, which we totally understand. The group happens on a Zoom call, and Ryan has also implemented Marco Polo as another tool with the group. So if you're someone that thinks it's just on Facebook, it's just a Facebook group, that is not what this is at all. It's truly like a live 1.5 hour call with Ryan once a month. Everyone's on the call, then they get the recording, and then there's Marco Polo and Facebook in between for communication and to share ideas and updates.
It's fun to try to bring in.
Just want to say congrats.
Yeah, I think it's very cool.
Thank you to all the
guys in the rigging crew that are in the crew, and yeah, it's awesome, man. It's just really proud to see what you guys have done.
Yeah,
and
it's Ryan's highlight.
It's a highlight.
It's his highlight.
So yeah,
after a long day, when he sees a post, or
yeah,
gets a message from one of them, it's pretty cool.
Right, I got some cool stuff planned for the guys for this fall and this winter. So especially with the Marco Polo now, as I'm making my Wahoo lures, I can show them what I'm doing new to catch the fish right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then just keep in touch with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. I have my workshop masterclasses, which I'm calling 2-day experiences every other week, as well as we'll be starting a Beyond Basic mastermind group and the audios, which I have 4 so far, and a 5th one will be coming soon too. And those are only $22, and those are my podcast on steroids. So if you're looking for next level information, insight, what's going on in my brain, what Ryan and I are experiencing, and how we are leveling up and have been leveling up over the years, these are the tools to check out. So until next week.
Keep that mojo. Yeah.
Next month, once a month.
Oh yeah. This one's for Jerome. Yep, I do leave the small fish behind for the pros. For the influencer pros, that is. Inside joke, right, Jerome?
All right. Love to everyone. Have a great month of October. Yeah. And next time, anytime you're fishing.
Yeah. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, bye.